as wonderful. Shit, bro, I did most of it. Nice. Uh, the opportunity of the phone is wonderful, but we don't make use of it. We don't make use of the internet well. One thing that sticks out to me actually thinking about, and I mean there's so many wonderful resources, and if you're in school, you're in university, I'm sure you're aware of many more resources than I would be, and I'm speaking quite generally. But I think of the founders of Wikipedia. The founders of Wikipedia, they're inspired by an architect named Christopher Alexander, who I love him. I like hearing him speak. He's a wonderful speaker, wonderful thinker. Like his perspectives are very interesting, and something he's quite known for is uh, really plotting out, or a book called The Pattern Language, and like finding things in architecture that make it more human, that improve the human experience of the built environment. It improves the experience of like walking through life, walking through school, walking through your home. And yeah, he did. I think he did an incredible job, and it's a wonderful book. But a wonderful speaker as well. But for some reason, and he's not a tech savvy person, for some reason he was invited to speak at like a conference for programmers, and it's what an awesome interview. Or it's not an interview; it's a speech. He's up on stage speaking in front of all these people, and he begins to tell them, it's like, "I don't know why I'm here. I, I am an architect. I don't know anything about your world. I don't know what you guys are doing." But the thing that he managed to say very clearly, so clearly and concisely, he looks sort of like Ford Harrison, but he said he said something very concisely, and I was just like, yes, I love this dude. And he just said, we are designing an environment, and and I guess that's our similarity. It's you are designing an environment for people to experience, and life will happen here. And then if life is happening here, this is like an environment to be designed. We have to care about the people it's being designed for. It has to, enhance. It not has to, but it's like it would be very nice if it enhanced their experience of life itself. And we are able to grow from our environment and not shrink into it. So yeah, and I think the discussion begins to go into like uh, ways that programming can be not that, ways that architecture is not that, like the wide streets, narrow sidewalks. It encourages you to just move, and like not having places to settle, not having places to sit down, not having places to lie down, not having green space, and just shadows, and just full. And these are all designed. These are designed. Shadows are designed. They're not. It's not like you put up a building and they have no one has any idea what the shadow is going to be like on the street beside it. It's like it is designed. And he's sort of speaking about why not make the electronic world intentional. And this is, to me, quite incredible. And the question always comes up like, what do you do? It's like, thanks for the whatever. What do you fucking do? Like, what are you supposed to do in this life? It's like, we have to work. We have to have careers. We have to spend the majority of our time doing something else. Then what? Then what? We find jobs in the with solar companies, with companies that are doing something good, and it's like, what if they don't make money? I think oil's still making a little money, and maybe I'll just work for an oil company. Like, it's like I want to do, guaranteed things, and it's like our world. It's like, and this is an incredible expectation for the world to change suddenly before we ourselves do. And I don't believe we need to be hyperly concerned about like uh, doing things that represent consciousness. It's like they're demonstrations, they're presentations of consciousness, and we're getting quite into the habit of presenting ourselves. But, you know, it's not the presentation, it is not the action necessarily, it is the perspective. And it is, what are you trying to do forever? It's like, how, and then the action comes. It follows unconsciously. It follows unconsciously, So if we are consciously trying to, it's like, right, we are in a situation that does not encourage consciousness. We are participating in things that do not encourage consciousness. If we are fighting to be conscious, I think, and it comes to schools, and it comes to our electronic environments, this new space that is being colonized, and it comes to our physical environments and the way we must spend our time in order to eat. And that is the greatest shame, I believe, and that is where my perspective comes from, to change how I eat, to change how I live physically on the earth, and not as if it's something that only one person can do. Many people are doing this. Many people must do this. It's interesting. It doesn't need to be a punishment. If any, it's one of the most possibly freeing things, especially as it becomes easier and easier and easier to live separately and more directly with the things that we actually need to exist. And this is what it means. It's like when you're going on to the landscape of ideas and on the internet, when you're searching and you're looking directly for what gives you life, what life has brought you to. And it's, at some point for me, Christopher Alexander, and it's Malcolm X, Frank Lloyd Wright, damn, that man who apparently invented permaculture. He's a wonderful human being. Australian man. I don't know why I can't remember his name, but I think I'll be looking into him again. What a wonderful person. And he said a wonderful phrase. He said an incredible phrase. I've done my part, and if one other person does theirs, then the world's good. That's what he said. That's incredible. And he's it's almost comedic how, cold he is in a way. But his actions, his perspective is the most caring one. His expression is not. And it's being, I think the easier path is being interested in life. If you're going to say anyone to anything, if you're going to say anything to anyone, if you're going to communicate anything, it's like it should be an interest in life. Should. What a terrible, terrible word. But it'd be nice if it was, an interest in life itself. And how do we gain more life? How do we achieve more? Collectively, as human beings, how do we have more freedom? How do we have less destruction and senseless violence? It's like, how do we create a world that is filled with intention and consciousness and not domination? Yeah, I guess that's my perspective.